Hey guys, it's Mr. Hodge here. I just want to do a quick review of what we talked about last class. If you recall from elementary school, you've had problems simple like this, even earlier this year, where you have blank plus 3 equals 13. Now we all know that 10 plus 3 equals 13, so our missing number here is 10. Don't freak out when you see a variable. Remember, a variable is a letter that stands in place of a number. In this case, I've put a simple one here. I've put x plus 3 equals 13. In this case, we know that 10 plus 3 equals 13, so therefore x in this case stands for 10. Um, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, so don't freak out when you see a variable. We can always solve for it. In the case of an inequality, which we will get to a little later, there is more than one answer. In this case, there is only one answer that's possible. Quick review. Remember, we talked about the line of equality, and there was a wall of equality that separated the two sides of the land. So the first thing we want to do is draw that line of equality or the wall of equality down the center of our problem. This separates the two halves because remember, our variable, it wants to be alone. We want to isolate the variable, and we do that by first identifying the function that's occurring. So in this case, we have addition here. And then we want to perform the inverse or opposite operation. So the inverse of addition, of course, we all know is subtraction. So if I do that on the left side of the line of equality, I also want to do that on the right side of the line of equality. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to perform the math. That's the last thing that I have. Step 4, perform the math. When I do so, these two are going to cancel out. This 3 minus 3 is 0. So x has achieved what it wants. It's isolated. It's all by itself because it's pretty selfish and it doesn't like playing with other people, hanging out with other people. It just wants to be alone. If I do the math here on the right, 13 minus 3 is also 10. So now we've figured out that same problem that we had on the last page. I've got 3 more problems I'm going to run through really quickly here. I've provided you with a sheet that you can take notes on. I'll leave this up so you can write down all of these things and remember, just follow the steps. It's pretty simple. You can use that as you do your sort. First thing is our line of equality. This is a subtraction problem. The inverse of subtraction is addition. Addition, I want to do it on the left. So if I do it on the left, guess what? I also want to do it on the right, both sides of my line of equality. Once I do that, these two on the left are going to cancel out because a negative 5 plus 5 again is 0. I'm left with f all by itself here, and I perform the math on the right now. 20 plus 5 equals 25. This next one, I have a coefficient in 7. Remember, a coefficient in front of a letter means multiplication. So I want to again start with my line of equality. The opposite of multiplication is division. I want to do a fraction bar here. Fraction bar on both sides. I do not want to use the division symbol. Remember though that the division symbol, it looks just like a fraction. So here's my fraction, 7 divided by 7. Why? Because I have 7 here, I want to use the same number. Just like I did up here, it was a 3, I used a 3. It was a 5, I used a 5. I have a 7, I want to divide by 7. And again, if I do it on the left, I want to do the same thing on the right. Same thing's going to happen here. It's a little bit different because 7 divided by 7 is not 0. Do not fall into that trap. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So what I'm left with here is h, because 1 times any number is that number. So 1 times h is just going to be h, and 21 divided by 7 is going to be 3. Last but not least, again, line of equality right down the center of my problem, right down my equal sign. This fraction bar, of course, we know means division. I want to do the opposite, and I want to use brackets here. I like to do it this way. If you want to do brackets below, that's fine as well. The number we have here is 2. 2 times 1/2, or 2 divided by 2 is again going to be 1. That's how these guys cancel out. Again, I am left with r here on the left. and R, in this case, 5 times 2 is equal to 10. So again, I'll put this slide back up in a second. Real quick, I want to go over our activity today. We're going to use the calling sticks to put you in pairs. You guys will get these cards right here. They're all already been cut up for you. What you and your partner are going to do is you're going to separate them and put the answer with the question. So if I look at 9 times 1/3 equals 3, so therefore, boom, I just gave you one answer, and now you only have 8 more to do. You and your partner are going to figure these out. You're going to put them together, and if you have any disagreements, at the end, what you're going to do once you finish all of them is check with another group. You check with another group. If you still can't agree, then you'll come and see either myself or Miss Metz. Otherwise, when you guys are going through, you need to discuss with each other why you think each answer is correct. Thanks, guys.